Welcome to episode 44 of VR Roundtable. I'm, of course, Anthony, and joining me this week is Chris. And this is going to be a really interesting episode because it's just me and Chris. That's it. We don't have Gary. We don't have Steve. And then the craziest thing is all the stuff that happened this week.
Yeah, it really is.
Because I mean, didn't you think about it? We did episode 43, right? We went to bed and then we woke up the next day and freaking everything exploded. And then it's like, man, that episode we just did, who's going to care about that?
Yeah, I know. Like, there's a lot of random news that just kind of appeared overnight, and definitely stuff we'll get into in a bit. But I guess first we should maybe talk about non-Oculus stuff because it's almost all Oculus, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think if we just we'll touch on a few non-Oculus things, and then we'll just get into there's so much ramifications from the whole Oculus thing that it's not like we're just going to be like, oh, let's talk about Oculus, and it's like a little 5-minute discussion. There's so many little things we can touch, so we have plenty of show as far as that goes. So let's cover just a few of these non-Oculus stories. And today there was a bunch of Disney stuff that popped off. The first, go ahead. Did you want to cover the game that was shown off?
Oh, sure. So I guess kind of in conjunction with Oculus, there's this Marvel game coming out that was announced today. I forget what it's called, actually. I should look that up. Do you know what it's called?
It was Powers United VR.
That's
Powers
what it's called.
United VR.
Yeah, and I watched the trailer. It's really cool. Like, they showed you playing as Rocket from that, what is that movie called? Oh my gosh,
Guardians of the
Galaxy, exactly. And then Hulk, and yeah, I mean, it just looks like a really fun, I mean, it's, it's kind of another shooter type game, but it looks like it could potentially be multiplayer and like a kind of a large scope, which is really cool. So
yeah, it's interesting because I know a while back there was a story where they were talking to some Marvel executives, and they were saying that we have a lot of big VR things that are planned, and that you guys are going to start finding out about some of these big VR things very, very soon. And I think this is definitely one of those big things. And this isn't, Oculus is funding this. It's interesting because it's Disney, and Disney is almost negative on VR in general. It's almost like they want to steer people to AR, and it's like, no VR. But Marvel is kind of their own entity, and Disney owns Marvel, but Oculus was able to hook up this deal, and it's super exciting, but it's 2018. I was kind of hoping maybe November, December,
Yeah, I didn't even see that it said 2018 until you told me that. That's kind of a shame that they can't get that out sooner, but definitely looks like it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and then the other big Disney story, this one broke just very recently. Now, this is augmented reality related, is Jedi Challenges. Disney announced Star Wars Jedi Challenges at the D23 Expo in Anaheim today, where they're partnering with Lenovo. And so Lenovo, and it's basically, this is an Upload story, right? And so Upload has this story, and they're talking about how they're partnering with Lenovo and Lucasfilm to create a new consumer AR headset. And they actually have a video of this lady. She puts on a weird looking contraption, and then there's like a Jedi, there's a lightsaber controller that she grabs, and it's really interesting. But I mean, did you get a chance to check out this video real quick?
Yeah, it's only probably 30 seconds, but it really shows a lot, and it's just so weird because you wouldn't ever think of Lenovo. I didn't even hear them do anything about VR or AR in the past. Maybe they were going to do something with Windows Holographic at some point. But, I mean, this seems just kind of like an out-of-the-blue announcement, like not really connected with any particular company that's already in the industry. It's kind of weird in that way.
Yeah, the other thing, it says they're partnering with Lenovo and Lucasfilm Doesn't Disney own Lucasfilm?
They do, yeah. They
So I don't know why they'd have to partner with something they already own. That's kind of weird. But yeah, Lenovo, I mean, Lenovo does have their mixed reality headsets that, well, not headsets, but they have a mixed reality headset that is coming, I believe, this year. Now, this is AR, so this is a separate thing. But is this something that maybe will also be translated to VR, or are they going to keep this a separate AR project only? And like I was saying earlier, Disney, the parent company Disney, like the CEO is almost anti-VR because I think they look at VR as almost a threat. And they really should, because eventually I imagine any city in America could have some type of little roller coaster thing that is fitted with VR in the right way, and you can make it as incredible as any Disney ride you went to. So they should be fearful. But I don't know. What do you think about another headset? Disney coming out with a headset?
It's another really weird thing to think about, because it's like, you know, all the same questions come up that you would ask with like any of these kind of pop-up announcements, like what software is this going to run? Is this just going to run like some Star Wars experience? Like, what is the platform behind this? Because I can only think of two platforms that are sustainable enough, that have enough content for people to want to buy into. Like, I don't even know about the Windows mixed reality stuff just yet, like how diverse that content library will be. So, I mean, I feel like this headset needs to be on some sort of platform.
Well, it says that you're going to download apps onto your phone, then lock it into the headset, similar to Gear VR, and that Disney is promising full line of sight to the outside world and not just staring directly into a screen. And when you see this headset that the lady's wearing, it's kind of got this big bulbous glass front part of it. But I do see two big screens in there, and I'm trying to think, really, how is she going to see around those two screens that are there?
Yeah, it kind of looks like it, like when you see those fake holographic things where it's like a 45-degree angled piece of glass, and there's just kind of screens reflecting back like into the eyes. It's really doesn't, it seems like they're trying to aim for it to be more of like a Gear VR type thing, like you said, with them saying that, you know, you have to load this up on your phone. That's so strange to me.
Yeah, so it's just more chaotic stuff going on in our industry, like always. But
Yeah.
so these were like kind of the two stories that jumped out, that first game for Oculus, which is going to be really big, the Marvel's Powers United VR. And then, of course, this weird headset. Did you have anything else you wanted to maybe talk about real quick before we get into the whole Oculus thing?
I mean, I'm deep in all the Oculus stuff, so I can't, I don't know. I haven't really heard about anything else this week. It seems like it's what everyone's really focusing on. Oh, well, I mean, this is an Oculus thing. Never mind. All right, let's just go to the Oculus stuff.
Okay, wait, why don't we do this though? Let's cover the Oculus thing chronologically, okay?
That's the best idea.
It was a cool experience for me because I can tell you that, like, we did our podcast last Sunday. I had no knowledge of anything, right? I go to bed, I wake up the next day, and I end up at my computer and I have my cup of coffee and I bump onto Reddit. It's like one of the first sites I always check. And I was in the Vive subreddit, and there was this big thing about Oculus $399, and I'm like, what? I'm like, no way. This is like a joke post or something, right? So then I quickly bounce over to the Oculus subreddit, and there's like 7 different posts all about it, and like official and all this stuff. And I clicked on one of them, and it had like that yellow advertisement, that they have.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this shit is real. And then I scrambled over to my other computer, and I thought I maybe should order one of these right now. And I went to Oculus.com and I started to go through the process of ordering it. And then right when I got to the part where it was almost like put in your credit card and the shipping and all of that, I thought, you know what? I wonder if Best Buy has it, because I've got Best Buys all around here. They might have one. I could maybe have this Oculus thing in like an hour from now instead of waiting for it to be shipped. So I paused, I backed out, closed all that out. I didn't even call the Best Buy actually, and I had my son was with me, and he wanted to get breakfast, and there's a Mimi's Cafe that is over by the Best Buy, and oh my God, Mimi's. Anybody that has a Mimi's Cafe, if you like pancakes, their pancakes will just melt in your mouth. Really good. Straight recommendation there. But we went and had breakfast, and then we went over to Best Buy, and I was like, do you guys have any Oculus Rifts? And they're like, yeah, we have one. And they got the Rift and they got the Touch, and they put it together. And like when they rang it up, the guy was like, oh my God, is this for real? And he was like talking to the other dude, and it was crazy, man.
Yeah, when I saw that, I saw that on my phone, and I just jumped out of bed, and I don't know why. I'm just like, Mom, Dad, this is big news. Like, I was freaking out. It was I just got right out of bed, and I texted like all my friends about it. I'm like, come on, if any of you guys are on the fence, you gotta go get a Rift right now, So, I mean, that was really fun to like. I don't know. It just got me going. I'm like, wow, this is huge.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, the equivalency of this is hard to put into context. It's kind of like back in the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 days, like when the first one dropped to $199.99, that's like, boom, that's like a big, you have to react to that. It's a megaton bomb that is going off. And that's kind of what happened on Monday, because I swear I didn't have the slightest idea that I was going to be an Oculus owner, but I wake up to find it's $399 and I get Touch included, and it comes with all these games and everything. And I was like, because I think I said on the podcast maybe a couple episodes ago, I was saying if I could get a Rift and Touch for $450 out the door, tax, shipping, and everything, I do it. And back when I said that, I was like, the problem is it's $200 more than that. So it's just a little bit more than I want to go to. And then when I saw this price, I was like, oh shit, I got to put my money where my mouth is, because I said that, and this is even better than that.
Yeah. So, I mean, big announcement on the podcast is Anthony is now an Oculus Rift owner. So congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and what's crazy though, my Oculus, we can get into this more when we get into what you've been playing, but my journey with my Oculus Rift, my new Oculus Rift, has been both up and down. Like when I first got it, I was totally blown away by everything. I've had some little snags. They're not big deals, and we'll get to it a little bit later, but I think we should try to maybe consider some of the ramifications of this. I did write down, let me see here. I wrote down some topics that people were discussing. Now, some of this was back on like Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it's changed a little bit because we do have some more information that have come out recently. But before we go there, a lot of people were talking about, well, what is the reason for this? Because this is like, boom. I mean, this is an explosion. There has to be a major reason for this. Something is going on, and then all of a sudden, bam, this happened. And there's all kinds of possible reasons. One of the reasons that I heard one guy talk about is, what they're doing here is they're clearing out all the inventory they have because of the ZeniMax lawsuit, that it's going to halt the sale of Oculus Rift. So they're trying to clear all their inventory out as quick as possible before this injunction. Does that hold any water at all to you?
Not really, especially after, I mean, this is kind of going out of chronological order, but Nate Mitchell kind of tweeted like, they released a new box which has like Touch bundled in and everything. So I think they were trying to get rid of at least the old inventory that had the Rift and Touch as separate boxes. So that's maybe part of it. But also, like, I don't know, it just feels like it's targeting, people of my generation. Like, summer started, they finally have summer jobs. We have like some, income we can spend on something like this. And like, I feel like it made a lot of like gamers and maybe the like 16 to 20 range, like really able to afford it. So I don't know, they might have just wanted to sell more units real quick,
Well, the thing about a drop like this is you have all these people that are sitting on the fence, the fence sitters, right? And they're looking at the HTC Vive and they're looking at the Oculus Rift and they're looking at PlayStation VR. And they're probably mildly interested, but they're not like super, super interested, but they're kind of watching it and keeping a close eye on it. And then all of a sudden you have an explosion like this that happens. And some of these people are like, okay, this is what it takes. This is what it takes to get you to jump. And so that's a possibility too. But let me give you another possible reason that somebody mentioned.
All right.
This was a random Neo gaffer, right? He said, they're just trying to grab customers before the market gets flooded with the cheaper VR variants. Now, I think this guy's talking about those Microsoft headsets that are coming soon. And it is an interesting comparison because that one Acer is supposed to be $299.99, but if you get it with the two controllers, it's $399.99, which is the same price that the Oculus is at this current time, but that will change, of course. But what do you think about this idea that they're trying to? Well, actually, let me get your take on it, and then I'll say another thing about it.
Yeah, no, I think that could be part of it, but I can't think of any PC gamer in their right mind who would buy a Windows holographic headset before an Oculus Rift. Like the recognition and the storefront and the games that they already know are coming out is so vast that, like, if you can get a Rift at 400, they knew, like, there's no way someone would buy a Windows holographic headset, I feel like. So, or mixed reality. I keep getting it confused. There's too many new names.
Yeah, but the way I look at this from a pure logic standpoint, I think it is a great idea what they did here, because the way you got to think about it is the average person out there is not going to buy 3 different VR headsets. They're going to buy one of them. You know what I mean? They're going to buy one headset. They're going to have it for a couple of years. Then maybe they'll upgrade or something like that. But they're going to have one headset. They're not going to be buying a ton of headsets. That's us. That's the crazy people that buy all these different headsets. But the average consumer out there is not going to do that. And Oculus knows that if they can get their price in the right spot and really have a bang right here, they can get a lot of these people these were people that were going to get maybe PlayStation VR, or maybe they were going to get a Vive. And now these people are out of the market. They've been removed from the market, and now they have Oculus hardware, and they're downloading Oculus software, and they're downloading stuff from Steam. But if you're Sony and if you're HTC, you're losing customers right here, because there were people, I guarantee you. Now, I know the Sony thing, you're probably thinking, well, PC and console, it's a totally different thing. But there's a lot of people out there that have a PlayStation 4, and they also have a computer that is kind of halfway decent that maybe could run this stuff. And some of those people are thinking about, should I just get a PSVR, or should I actually get a Rift and maybe get a new video card for my computer? People are considering this. So when this explosion hits, it hits Sony and HTC. What do you think is going on in their headquarters?
I agree with you. I think probably Sony's hurting a little bit less than HTC. I can not imagine how HTC is feeling right now. They're probably like, I don't know. Like, if you look on like the Vive subreddit, like there's almost nobody who can justify the price anymore, and it's compared to a Rift, and it's kind of insane how big the price gap is. I'm sure we can talk more about that, but I mean,
actually bringing up the HTC thing, we could touch on one other news story that was kind of non-Oculus related. We've kind of forgot to get to, but Upload VR, they had a special editorial where they were talking about, what does HTC do now? How do they respond to this? And some of the interesting stuff that they brought up in there was, man, HTC really is between a rock and a hard place when you consider the fact that Valve is the one that holds the keys, and HTC made something and they have a product out there, but they don't really have control over anything else. And so HTC, for example, like HTC has these trackers. They want to get these trackers out so people can put them on tennis rackets or ping pong paddles, or they can put them on their body in different spots and try to have full body immersion, all kinds of crazy stuff you might be able to do. But we still don't have these trackers. And Upload VR was, they were thinking, well, part of the reason might be that they're not compatible with the new lighthouses and the old lighthouses. And Valve controls that. And so if Valve doesn't give them like the final designs in enough time, I mean, they just have to sit, wait around, and hope that Valve throws them a little crumb that they can nibble on. HTC's in a hard spot, right?
They completely are, just because they're only a hardware company. I mean, they're trying to get into the software side with Viveport, but I mean, you know, their whole marketing is that it works with Steam VR. So, like, I don't think there's that many people who would even use Viveport to buy their games. But Oculus can get away with this because they own the storefront too. So, you know, they'll make money. They'll make a percentage off all the game sales. But I mean, HTC's just out of luck. They need to make profit on their hardware. Like, they can't sell it at a loss leader, even if Oculus maybe is breaking even. I don't know, but yeah, like
I kind of think Oculus might be losing a small amount of money, at least with the current packaging that they have.
Yeah.
Now that they're coming out with this new packaging where it's going to be one item, because anytime you have to ship two different boxes, little problems could happen with that. And so now that you just have one box, this is another story that kind of came out later in the week. And this one, it's funny because a lot of these random theories that people had, this one kind of deflated some of that, because it's like, okay, here's reality. So when the sale is over with, the price is not going to jump back to $600. It's going to jump to $500. So it's basically going to be $100 more than it is right now during this sale price. And the first thing I'll ask you, Chris, is why did Oculus bring this up right now? Why don't they wait a few weeks? Because there's these people that are fence sitting, and now you just told them, oh, guess what? It's only going up 100. So if you want to procrastinate again, here's your chance.
Yeah, I have no idea why they did that. Like, all the articles that kind of mentioned it kind of made it seem like a stupid move, and I agree with that. I don't know who announced that or how that came to be, but
there must be that they must have a reason for it. There must be something that we're just completely is slipping our mind, but there has to be some reason they did that. But to me, I thought, because isn't this thing going on for 6 weeks?
It is.
Or are we already part of the week's over?
I mean, there's still probably at least 4 weeks left in the sale or something. You know?
Yeah, so why not? I mean, I could understand, like, if there's only 2 weeks left and everybody's wondering, oh, it's going to go back to 600, that sucks. Then you leak out a little story like this, and then it's like, oh, okay. But you say it right now, I don't know. There's some people out there that are like, oh, well, it's only going up $100. I might just wait still.
Right. And then suddenly they don't want it anymore because it's too expensive again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. One guy, I'm just looking at some of these different little NeoGAF quotes that happened when all this was first announced, because I was like thinking, oh, we're going to talk about this week. Let's cover some of these interesting things some of these people were saying. This one guy said, this was all done to really push Echo Arena because it's that good. And so he's saying they're trying to get all this hardware out there so that Echo Arena, it's brand new, it's free, it comes out, everything is going to time together. And this is going to be that killer app that is going to push this forward. Maybe Echo Arena could be a Halo of the future. What do you think?
I'm not like, I love the game, but I haven't, got as addicted to it as most people on the Oculus subreddit are, saying it's like the best game ever. And I mean, although it's a fun, like, arcadey style, addicting gameplay type game, it's not really a killer app for me just because it lacks kind of the narrative and, like, maybe the single player campaign will give that. But I guess that could be part of it. Announcing it now, because I know, like, the second my friend got an Oculus Rift a few days ago, he jumped into Echo Arena and has been playing that a bunch. The beta, since it's extended till the 15th, or no, it's till the 17th. So I mean that's I guess that's valid. Yeah.
Well, it's good timing for Oculus from the standpoint that they've had a lot of big games that have all come out within relatively short succession. I mean, you have Wilson's Heart, Mage's Tale, you know, Rock Band. I mean, there's a bunch of them that have come out in the last couple of months that they can all kind of line up, and they keep doing it. You know, Lone Echo. I mean, we're talking about Echo Arena. What about Lone Echo? That comes out next week as what? That's next week, right?
Yeah.
Next week?
Oh
God,
man.
all this stuff is happening so fast, huh?
Yeah, it's hard to keep up, really, with all these games. Like, it's just I have a giant list of games I need to play, and it just keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, it's really out of control. I mean, there's so many games I have where it's like, I like that game. I was having fun with that game, but now it's buried 20 titles down on all the other stuff that I'm playing.
Yeah.
But so we could, if you want, we can now transition over to, is there any other more Oculus from the business side? Any other angles maybe
Well,
we should think about, or
maybe there's one thing we can bring up, which is the Amazon Prime deal that happened for like 10 minutes at a time. So, there are some lucky people out there who got Rift and Touch for $399 with a $100 Amazon gift card, which is just crazy. Like I freaked out at that. I'm like, are you kidding?
Yeah, it's crazy because on Monday when I got my deal, I'm thinking, yeah, I got the best deal in
That's what
town. This is
everyone
so
thought.
awesome. The next day I wake up and there's another bomb that gets dropped. Amazon, $100 gift card. But from everything that I looked at, it was one of those things where it was like a Black Friday deal. Like
Yeah.
it was available for like split seconds of time. And bam, if you just happened to be in the right place at the right time, bam, you could have got it. But a lot of people could not get in on that deal. But it kind of came back and went and came back and went, but then it was gone forever.
For me, it kept being like, came at like 1 a.m. Like I read it next morning, and it's like 7 hours ago. I'm like, darn it. Why I wasn't even up then. So yeah, that was.
And then the people, but also the people that did get that deal, some of them are still waiting to get their Rifts. I think some
Right.
of them aren't even like the Rifts are like delayed in terms of see, that was the advantage for me. I can go back to that Best Buy thing. It was like I could just go here, get it, bring it home, and immediately start screwing around with it. And that's what I did. I hooked everything up. Oh wait, is there any other news stories or
No,
angles?
I don't think so. But like,
Okay.
yeah, no,
We
like,
can bounce. We can always bounce back if we remember something.
yeah, no, like
This
you were
is going to
saying,
be
I
more
did
of a freestyle show.
yeah, I did the same thing. Well, I went with my friend to Best Buy, and we got the Rift there as well. Cause like, I'm like, we could get this thing today. We don't have to wait like a week or however long it would take. So, I mean, that's really kind of an advantage of Oculus right now is like, I don't see Vives for sale in retail stores unless it's maybe the GameStop, I think, might have them in limited quantities or something like that.
A few
But
GameStops, I think. Doesn't the Microsoft store have them, or you just
they
have
do.
to order?
They have them as well. Yeah, I saw them there, and I saw them at Best Buy. Like, so, like Oculus is set. Like they have the stock for people to run and get this deal in person too, which was also very smart of them.
If you're running like a VR arcade and stuff, the people that are doing that, they're probably like, oh shit, bam. They're trying to buy like 5, 6 of these Oculus.
They're also probably like, oh no, people are just gonna buy these now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting how from a business standpoint, it's amazing how many additional Oculus owners are coming into the fold, this week. How many Vive owners are buying Oculus? A lot of them. I honestly think, I'm going to go on a little rant here and tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that some of the greatest number of people that are buying Rifts this week are actually Vive owners. And my reason for believing this is, who knows how good this VR shit is other than Vive owners. Vive owners know how good VR is, and they know how high quality this stuff is. And they know that if the Rift is $399 with touch and with all those games, that is too damn good of a deal. And so there's a lot of Vive owners that are grabbing this as another option. Yeah, we can play these games on Revive, But what I found personally is getting the actual touch controllers and being able to play the games with the touch controllers. Oh my God, it makes all the difference in the world. And you would think, oh, nah, Revive, I'm buying a whole nother headset just so the controllers feel better. I'm okay with Revive, but man, if you've got a nice big collection of Oculus games like I happen to do, because I've been buying them since like it first started, grabbing a game here, grabbing a game there. And so having this collection of Oculus games, it's worth it to me, I think, to pay this money so that you can play them and it feels good, it feels right. You're just hitting a button and bam, something opens up. You're not doing the fidgety thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like trying to play, I tried to play Dead and Buried on the Vive with Revive with a friend the other day, and like just it's such a kind of like a hassle compared to having the native touch controllers, Yeah.
Well, the Mage's Tale, like that game there, I honestly kind of underrated that game. But then getting my Oculus this week, that was one of the games that I was able to try out when I first got my Oculus up and running. And oh my God, dude, it was like a revelation. But you know what was the most incredible part about it? It wasn't actually the controls, although the controls felt beautiful, because in the Mage's Tale, you hit one of the buttons and it brings up that small little orange shield, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
And then so you just hit the button, bam, bam, bam. The shield just comes up real quick, real solid. It works great. You hit the other button and it's like a blue triangle where you get to choose which spell you're going to grab. And you just hit those buttons and it works. That's awesome. But what really blew me away by the Mage's Tale, well, this is almost like an Oculus thing in general. It's the asynchronous space warp, or, the ASW, this magic sauce that the Oculus Rift has in the Oculus SDK runtime or whatever. I don't understand the technical issues of it. All I know is I have a GTX 970 and the Mage's Tale was like stuttering like crazy, and it was kind of choppy, and it was not pleasurable on the Revive. I mean, I know I have a crappy PC, so that's partly that's my fault. But this ASW stuff, oh my God, Chris, I was blown away by it.
I think that's a good point, and like people who haven't seen it kind of underrated, or I don't know, they don't really know about it. That's like a hidden feature kind of the Rift, because like you can run a Rift on like a 960 even, or even like a last gen card, and still get playable usage out of it. Like it's kind of nuts how they have that magic type thing that interprets how you move and predicts frames, and yeah.
Well, they announced it, I think, at one of the Oculus Connects, and they announced we're lowering the PC specs. We're lowering them to the 960. Now we're saying a whole nother group of people can come in and play. And they said they did that because of this ASW thing, which normally a lot of these these marketing terms, a lot of it can be bullshit. But I'm telling you, man, I was playing the Mage's Tale and there was no stuttering, and I'm like, oh, all of this looks beautiful. Everything is nice. It's working great. There's no like hitchiness. This feels so much better. And that was a beautiful thing. And then the controls are a big deal right from Jump Street, because on the Vive, trying to search on your thumbstick for where those buttons go, it's always frustrating to me.
Yeah, definitely.
So do you play Mage's Tale? What did you think about it?
I did. I played it, I don't know, probably longer than I thought I would. Probably like 45 minutes, an hour maybe. I haven't had that much time this week, but I mean, it was definitely fun. I was loading, man, the loading times. It was loading for 10 minutes when I started it. I was like, are you kidding? Is it broken? They had little loading text.
The loading is crazy long. Arizona Sunshine ain't got nothing on this game as far as loading.
Oh man. But I mean, once it finally loaded, like, there's a lot of little quirks about this game, a lot of little things that aren't perfect, but I mean, it really shows how this type of game can work. Like, kind of this open world-ish feeling, or you have all these levels to go through, and yeah, some of the interactions were a little finicky for me. Like, I don't know, from using a Rift for a while and playing like games that are all Oculus Studio games where all the interactions are perfect. This is a little odd. Did you have any of that?
Well, I've had some problems. See, so like when I first got the Rift, what I did was I at first I just had the two sensors. Okay. Yeah. And so I set up the two sensors on like these little tables, and it was I basically set everything up just quickly, just so I can kind of screw around with it, but it wasn't in like the permanent place where it would be like finalized and everything. And I did that. And I screwed around with it for a day. And then I was like, you know what? I need a third sensor. I got to get one right away.
Yeah.
And my third sensor, I have a little third sensor story, right? So I went to Amazon and I'm like, okay, third sensor. How long is it going to take? It wasn't going to come until like July 18th or something. So I'd have been waiting forever, right? I went to Newegg, Best Buy, all of them. I tried to do like if they send it to the store and I go to the store and get it, maybe that'll be faster. Now, if I wanted to pay like $15 extra or something, I could have did fast shipping and got it faster, but I normally don't do that. So what I did was I thought, you know what? I'm actually just going to go buy another touch package. And I went to Best Buy because I could get it that day. And because I saw that Best Buy had a different Best Buy had the touch just by itself. And so I went and bought a touch. Yeah, it's $100, but it comes with a sensor, and then you get two more controllers. And so now you got two backup controllers. It also comes with the bundle of software. And I was able to hook up a buddy of mine. I signed into his account, activated the controllers, and all the software installed into his account, and then I went back into mine because I mean, hey, I paid for it twice, so I figure why not.
Yeah, no.
But and the backup controllers, it's like I like having backup controllers. I wish I had backup Vive controllers when my Vive one broke.
Yeah, too bad Vive controllers are $130 each, huh?
Yeah, that hurts.
Back to HTC.
But
yeah.
But I got the third sensor, and then so I was screwing around with like the Mage's tail and stuff. And I'm just trying to get back to how you were asking about jankiness.
Yeah.
And I did get some jankiness, but you know what my problem is? My problem is USB plugs, okay, USB wires, and then these sensors. I'm having a lot of problems, man, but I'm going to figure it all out. One thing I did is I actually ordered one of these. This is a little Initech.
Yeah, like put it where your face is.
Oh, you probably can't see it. It's all blurry because it's all black. But it's this Initech USB board that everybody recommends for the Rift, right?
I think I have that, to be honest.
Yeah, so I just got this today. It came late, and if we weren't doing this podcast, I'd be opening up my PC, throwing it in right now, and I'm hoping that this will solve a lot of my problems because I had a lot of little USB hookup problems. I had 3 sensors going, but I don't think it was like recognizing all 3 of my sensors. I'd actually have to unplug. See, my keyboard and my mouse are both USB.
Yeah.
And if I unplug them before starting up the Oculus, sometimes it worked then. So it was all kind of screwy like that. So these are some hidden costs out there that a lot of people probably don't talk about.
Oh, yeah. I have these problems all the time with my Rift. And like, I mean, I don't like to talk about it because, eventually I work through it. But I mean, like, sensors just disconnect randomly for me sometimes. I'm like, oh, there goes my back sensor. Gotta like unplug something or rewire.
Because it does suck if you turn, like when you turn around and then your hand is just gone. Because it's like it lost you, and it's like, damn, you gotta have that back sensor. The other problem that I'm having too, and this is what I didn't realize is. So I got this big ass room that I'm in, right?
Yeah.
And the actual play area that I play in is in the very middle of the room. And so my lighthouses, you can't see, but I have these black, they're called soffits or whatever that have like these lights in them and stuff. Mm-hmm. I have my sensors plugged into there. And they're really far, like away from where my actual play space is, but they cover it no problem. But with the Oculus sensor, I guess you want to have it a heck of a lot closer to where your actual rectangle is.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to have it like 5 feet away and then aimed at the rectangle. You want it like 2 feet or a foot away.
Yeah, no, that is also kind of annoying. Like if you have a big play space, which is, I mean, you know, Rift is the obvious choice for like smaller play spaces, but it is a hassle, you know, running the USB cords and getting it all kind of mounted up there.
I'm kind of worried because see, my ceilings are so short, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to put, I did order these mounts from Amazon. I ordered these special ones where it's actually they're not made specifically for the Rift, but they work with like CCT cameras and stuff like that. But basically it's got an adjustable knob so you can like rotate it so I can angle it farther down so it's going more down at my play space and really hitting it. And I think that's going to work a lot better. But the only thing I'm worried about is when I'm playing my Vive, because the Vive play space is bigger.
Yeah.
When I'm playing my Vive, and if I play some game where I'm like swinging overhead, you know, bam, my Oculus sensor goes across the room.
I have a similar like little swivel thing that I have in the wall just because, you know, you can't aim the sensors low enough with the standard stand, like nowhere close to where they should be.
I got it on maximum tilt. It's not even close. It's not right.
Not close. Yeah. That is kind of an issue for you, huh?
How many total sensors do you have?
I only have 2, but I've never set these up in my Vive space I had in my basement, which was like the full 4x4 meter, like, you know, maximum Steam VR space thing I had. Yeah, I've been fine with 2 so far. Like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to show, but I have one up there.
Yeah, I see that one.
Yeah, it's just kind of.
So you know that one that you have up there, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some tech support right here live.
Okay.
that one that you have up there. Like let's say that whatever your Rift play space is, right?
Yeah.
Let's say it's like this volumetric cube of Jello. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So how close is that camera to that cube of Jello? Like if you were to measure it in inches from where your plate, like that edge of your play space.
I mean, on one of my cameras, it's probably 3 feet. On this one, it's probably like 1.5 feet.
Yeah. Okay. 3 feet seems kind of far away.
It is. I have it shoved in my closet. Can I have open the closet just because the camera field of view isn't too much, and like I don't really have a walking play space, so I'm trying to do like a 360 kind of in a stationary place, so the cameras are directly in front of me and directly behind me. They're not in corners.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah, that's really an issue with like the sensors because they really lose resolution the farther away you get. But I think you'd be fine with like, you know, the more sensors you have, kind of the better leeway you have moving them a little bit further away, because if more than one sees it, it kind of gets more accurate. I don't know.
Well, the USB thing, I mean, that's another little issue. And then it's like when you get, if you're going to have a USB extension, sometimes those extensions will, like, let's say, like I went to Fry's and I bought a 3.0 USB extender. It's got the blue thing on each side of it, right?
Yeah.
And I hooked it up to one of the cameras it is USB 3.0, and I had it into one of my 2 USB 3.0 slots, but it wasn't registering as 3.0. Now, if I plugged it directly into that slot, it registered at 3.0. So there's always all these little weird screwy things. And then you got to figure out, where am I going to run all these wires? So it's not all rainbows and sunshine with the Oculus from that standpoint. But the hope is that eventually you get everything set up, and then it's just an enjoyable experience. You just play the game and it's enjoyable experience. And I can say, another game I wanted to talk about in our little what you've been playing, and this is a game, I mean, how long ago has this game come out now? Robo freaking Recall. Okay. So Robo Recall is one of my favorite VR games of all time, and it's so much freaking better. It's so much better now for me. And a lot of this is that ASW. It's the Asynchronous Space Warp. I got the 970 video card. I don't have the best video card in the world. And when I'm playing it on my Vive, there's a lot of stuttering. There's a lot of hitching. There's just little problems here and there. And then, of course, the controls, trying to grab the robots, the whole 360 thing with all the different little mods or whatever that you had to do to get the thing to work right. But just, I can never feel like I was like just able to have fun when I was playing it on. I mean, I still had a lot of fun. I still liked it a lot. But playing it with touch, that very first day when I just had the sensors kind of, actually the second day. The second day is when I had my best experience because I had all 3 sensors working, but they weren't in permanent locations, but they were working.
That's good.
And then I was getting good tracking. And Robo Recall, dude, I was playing it. I was grabbing these robots. I was just smashing them around. I felt like such a badass. Like, it's the ultimate like superhero, like you are the freaking man simulator because you can just throw your guns, they bounce off the guys, you grab it. When you have the right controls, this is one thing I actually did. Okay, so I have the shotgun, which when you have the shotgun and you blast those guys, it feels really good, but it runs out of bullets real fast. You only get 3 blasts and that's it. You take that shotgun, you throw it at the robot, it hits them, but the process of it hitting the robot and then floating back to you still takes like 4 seconds or something. So in the meanwhile, bam, you grab 2 more guns, you're shooting stuff, then you catch the shotgun and blast somebody else. And it's like, I'm doing like super hot type stuff while I'm playing Robo Recall, and it feels so good. And then the ASW, the graphics. Oh, let's talk about like the Oculus headset. I've had some ups and downs with that as well. Is the headset seemed like the first day I got it, it seemed like the headset was pinching me on the side. Like it's made for people with heads that are more squeezed in than mine. Because it's like pinching me on the side. And then, the light leakage. Dude, I was hella worried about the light leakage at first because I first got it and I'm like, man, I can see like my carpet and all this light is leaking in. And then Steve was like, hey, did you know that you can flip the visor like this? You can like rotate it to. So I was able to do that. But thinking about this headset, ergonomically, like it does kind of pinch me here. And then even when I rotate it down and I get it down like that and I kind of seal it a little bit, it's kind of pressing on my cheekbones here a little bit. And I still get some light leakage. So the Vive in comparison, because I had to go back to the Vive because I was waiting for this USB thing. I'm waiting for my mounts and all that. So I kind of put the Oculus away for 2 days, went back to the Vive. The first thing I noticed with the Vive is, man, that Vive just seals my whole face off. I am in there and it is a dark cave and I don't see nothing. And that's great, but it's not comfortable at all. The Oculus is a little bit more comfortable, and you have that audio, the deluxe audio strap for the Vive. And now I'm thinking, man, getting the Oculus makes me want the deluxe audio strap because you just put it on, you pop the little headphones in there. The headphones might not be as good as my Sennheisers, but they're there. They're already there. They're ready to go. It's so lovely to just put the headset on and bam. You know what I mean? It
really is. And like with the Rift, like I could never figure out how to do this with my Vive. Maybe it wasn't supported, but like if you don't even have Oculus running, you just put on the headset and Oculus Home will boot up. So like I don't know if you've done that, but that just adds so much, instead of having to open up Steam, then press Steam VR, then run over to your Vive and put it on,
One thing I need to learn though is how do I turn Oculus off, because I'll be playing Steam VR stuff and my sound cuts out. I take off the I'll be playing a Vive game, right?
Yeah.
And the sound just goes away. And then I know exactly what it is. The Oculus thing just popped up. And for some reason, when the Oculus thing pops up, my sound goes away. So I got to take the headset off. I go back to my computer. I close the Oculus thing. And then it says, do you really want to close this? Because this is going to shut down your VR thing or whatever. And I'm like, yes, I do want to close it. And then my sound comes back on. managing all these different programs is always a hassle.
Yeah. Like for some reason, or I guess this is just a Rift thing. I guess people don't really talk about it much, but anytime you open Steam VR or like any non-Rift game or Oculus Home game, Oculus Home still boots up to kind of run like the headset code. So that's kind of weird that your sound cuts out when it does that. Like it always opens up, like you can't stop it. So I don't know. That's probably some weird.
There's
Steam
a
VR
way.
Quirk thing.
No, somebody was telling me you could program some little thing and then you just have to type it in real quick and then you can completely shut the Oculus thing down for a little while. But somebody needs to make like a quick little easy app that just does that. Like turn Oculus off for a little while. You just hit a button.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To make it a little bit easier because it can be pretty hectic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Robo Recall, man. Oh my goodness. I started the game, the Mage's Tale and Robo Recall. I started both of them over from scratch because it's like I want to play these the right way from the very beginning, and I'm having a blast. It's almost like I've rediscovered, well, especially with Robo Recall, it's like Christmas for me because it's like this is a whole new game for me now. I mean, I'm not bullshitting. It was good in Revive. It really was, but it's even better. Oh my, I have so much more respect for like epic games. Like what they pulled off here is truly awesome.
Yeah, everything just feels way too natural. Like it's really great for sure. Yeah.
Did you get a chance to play anything else at all that we could mention?
I mean, honestly, ever since my friend Riley got his Rift, we've been playing all of the like free multiplayer games that come with touch and been having a blast, but nothing new really, like we played a lot of Dead and Buried. We beat one of the horde mode levels finally. Like I don't know, we just had to have native Oculus hardware because like, I was playing it in the Vive and he was playing it in my Rift at one point, could never beat it, and he finally has a Rift and touch, and now just the guns work way more accurately, I guess, or something. I don't know, just designed for it. So yeah.
You know what's cool about having another headset, I'm just thinking, is like if I could have one more gaming computer,
yeah,
I could play with my sons, what I mean? Because I could give one of them the Oculus or the Rift, and if we could be in a game that is like cross-platform play.
Yeah, like so, me and my friend played a little bit of Rec Room as well, and then we went into Facebook Spaces just to try it out. I've never tried it with someone else in VR, so I'm really liking the social thing when I actually have like, a friend like I actually know personally, and like we can hang out in there. And one of the reasons I told him like he's got to get this Rift is like, I'm going to college in Vermont soon, and he's going to college in Maine, so like we might actually be able to hang out a little bit. So that's really what's been kind of pushing VR along for me is having friends to play all these little games with. So
yeah, I haven't gotten into too much of the multiplayer too much, but I can say like on the other little features that it has, I am going to explore a lot more of that just because now that I have the real controls and everything, like just even going through first contact was so much better because you could grab the rocket and you could grab the little thing and you didn't have to press any button, you just move your thumb and you grab the little thing to pull it and shoot the rocket out. So it's those little gestures, I give them a lot of credit. Now, of course, on the flip side is like we're going to have these knuckle controllers in maybe a couple of months, and then they might have the advantage over there again, but you're going to have to buy them and all of that.
Right. Yeah, no, it kind of gives you a taste of like what the Knuckles controllers could be,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can see playing. One other thing I want to try too is some of the games that I've always played on Vive that I could possibly play on Oculus now. If it uses the Oculus SDK, then it would benefit from the asynchronous time warp. But not all the games on Steam do that. But I'm wondering if somebody out there has made a list of Oculus games that do actually run on the real Oculus thing. Because I could try some of those games again, like something like Climby or To the Top, where you're constantly grabbing and stuff, with the controllers, how they just kind of like mold into your hands, it might be a lot more convenient to play some of those games.
Right. I'm not positive on this. Like, did you ever experience any stuttering when you were playing like a Steam VR game on the Rift yet?
I haven't even tried that yet.
Yeah,
I've just stuck with native Oculus so far.
Okay, because I think how OpenVR injects the Oculus SDK into everything, I think everything automatically gets the Space Warp. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I know you can't get Space Warp through Revive though.
Right. No, you can't. It has to be like if you have an
think you're
Oculus.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if you have a Rift, do you think you're going to get Space Warp for everything you're playing on Steam? I'm not sure about that.
I think you might. So maybe we can check back on that next podcast. But I'm pretty sure that's how it works. It's kind of
If that's true, I'm definitely playing Cyberpunk if
Okay.
it works. No, because Cyberpunk would always have these moments where it would stutter like crazy, and I'm just curious. Like either if I had a 1080 Ti or I have asynchronous time warp, it would like if I had like a 1080 Ti, I'm trying Cyberpunk because I just want to see it be smooth and not have any stutter.
Yeah. One more Oculus kind of news story that came out is Oculus is reportedly planning a $200 standalone wireless headset in the near future. Did you see that at all?
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm like, how is that possible?
It feels like almost their partnership with Samsung might be starting to like kind of close out, with Samsung starting to support Daydream and all that with the Gear VR. So maybe Oculus is just trying to kind of repackage a Gear VR like Oculus platform thing, so they can get that market.
They're going to go with the Snapdragon processor, right? That Qualcomm processor that has been supposedly designed almost specifically for VR.
I think so. I'm not positive, but that would sound like it makes sense.
But no positional tracking. So how does that work? Like, what is no positional tracking? What is that even like?
I mean, it's just a Gear VR.
So your head is a controller, basically.
Like it doesn't necessarily mean you don't have a controller, but like, yeah, you can't lean around. I don't know if you've ever tried a Gear VR, but it's jarring if you move your head at all. Like you have to. It's back to like the Dev Kit 1 days where you have to pivot in one space and not move your head at all, which is kind of weird for Oculus to, if they were planning to do that. Like, why would you release something like that? That could get a lot of people sick. Like, I know the Gear VR already is out there, but you'd think they'd be able to, I don't know, get some sort of positional tracking working for something like that.
I wonder if this system will run all the Gear VR software. Could it? Could it be backwards compatible with that?
I mean, maybe they'll like kind of encourage all the Gear VR developers. Like, there's a very simple way to port your Gear VR title to this, and it'll run the same, something like that. Because I don't know, it might not. It might run a heavily modified version of Android, I guess. Like, what operating system would this thing run? I don't think Oculus would code their own operating system from scratch. I don't know.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, when I first heard about it, I was like, really? How? And then that's another thing too. Why announce this right now?
Yeah, what is happening?
You just put this machine on sale.
Oh my God.
You're getting all these fence sitters, and then you throw in some oddball comment about some $200 headset that's coming next year. Please, somebody at Oculus, who is like the head of press relations, or who is deciding these decisions?
Yeah,
it's got to go.
I know, because I mean, you know, fence sitters are going to be like, all right, $200, but then it's going to be, I mean, you know, I can't really judge it, but if it's anything like the Gear VR, it's junk compared to the full scale Rift or Vive. Like, it's junk. You can't move your head, you can't move around the environment. Like, you know, it gets people sick easier. Like, I don't know.
But if somebody was just sitting in a chair, right?
Yeah.
And they have it on, they could have like a 360 movie type thing that could happen where maybe they would be okay with that, but they just can't like move their head around.
Yeah, yeah, and that's
so maybe
really
it's meant more for non-gamers or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just so weird with like, you know, all the Windows mixed reality headsets coming out that can do all the inside out tracking, and like Oculus has the Santa Cruz prototype that uses cameras to do this. So it's weird. And then in the same article, it says that they're planning to add positional tracking on future versions. It's like, what? Why would you announce that? Are you kidding?
Yeah, a lot of these crazy announcements. Come on, keep some of this stuff secret and just sell what you're trying to sell.
I don't want to buy this if I know the future one's gonna have positional tracking and also be $200. Like, are you serious? Oh man.
Yeah, it's
very
truly
strange.
bizarre.
Yeah.
Some of these announcements.
So they're doing a lot right, but also a lot of weird, unnecessary things they're doing wrong.
Yeah. So I don't know. We got a pretty short show this week, if we call it right here. But I was just going to go check real quick because I know, you know what? There have been a ton of game announcements for PlayStation VR.
Right.
And I could just mention that real quick.
Yeah, that'd be good. I have no idea about any of those right now. I'm all...
Well, you know what's funny? See, what's going on in the PlayStation VR world is so many of the games that are on Oculus and HTC are coming over to PlayStation VR. For example, just like yesterday, it was announced that Smashbox Arena is coming on July 25th. Now, people already knew this was coming to PlayStation VR, but we got the date of July 25th. And like a whole other topic is, oh my God, dude, the month of July is freaking bonkers. I mean, the amount of games that we have coming this month, especially if you consider all these damn PlayStation games. I know you don't really care on the PlayStation side, but Fantastic Contraption just came out for PlayStation VR, like very recently. On July 19th, PlayStation VR people get Super Hot. That's huge. On July 18th, the day before, PlayStation VR gamers are getting Archangel, which Archangel is a game from Skydance Interactive that's coming to the Oculus and to the HTC Vive. And that game is coming maybe 2 to 3 weeks after it hits PlayStation VR. And this game, I don't know if you've heard about this game, Archangel, Chris, but what it is, it's an on-rails experience. So you don't have control, like you're in like a mech and like a gigantic robot, and you're like going through this city and you're doing stuff, but it's you don't have control of your movement. But the graphics look really sick because if they know that you don't have control of your movement, they can do other things because they know you can't move this way, you can't move that way. So let's make this look really good. So Archangel looks pretty cool. That's coming this month. The Bellows just came to PlayStation VR, and they're charging $5 for that. It's completely free on Steam, but for some reason they brought it over to PlayStation VR. They're charging $5. Tiny Tracks. There's a game called Tiny Tracks coming on July 25th. This is another PlayStation VR game. But the cool thing about this game, I hope this one eventually comes to Oculus and Vive as well, because this looks like it would be really cool. But it's very similar to Blaze Rush, where you have these little vehicles that are racing around like these little slot car tracks, but the worlds are like totally fantastical with, all kinds of loop-de-loops and crazy things going on. And the tracks, the way they have it situated is it's like you're sitting there with your PlayStation VR headset, and then the tracks kind of like loop around you and go over you and stuff. So it's like you're just right there, and they kind of like wrap around you. You probably haven't seen any screenshots of that, but it actually looks really cool.
I haven't, but I've played a bunch of Blaze Rush, so I'm completely behind that concept.
Yeah, it's really, there's something about seeing little things move around and like seeing them like where it really looks kind of real. Yeah. And it's like the hologram thing. Did you ever play Witchblood for Oculus? That one that's like $8. It's from Hidden Path Entertainment. It's kind of like a Metroidvania.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if we talked about it on the show at all, but there's this game called Witchblood. It's on Oculus. It's from Hidden Path Entertainment, the company that made Brass Tactics, or they're coming out with Brass Tactics later this year, a real-time strategy game. But Witchblood it's a 2D game, and it's like a Metroidvania. And the way it is like you're sitting here and you're playing the game, and then there's this like big wall that's in front of you that the game is taking place on. And so you're controlling this character, and she moves around and she jumps and climbs up stuff and does different things. And it's just so cool because you're like sitting there, you're controlling this character, and if you kind of lean in and get close, you know, you can see her like jumping around, and you can see the little enemy guys. And I don't know why, but they look like holograms to me, and it's like this looks so cool. And I just think about the screen door. When the screen door gets even better and better, like zero screen door,
Yeah.
that stuff is going to take on a life of its own.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like ever since I played Couch Nights with the Dev Kit 2 back at like PAX East way long ago, you know, it's the same concept, just like little things right in front of you. Like that's really one of the most compelling things you can do. So,
and you know what they could do with that, and what they really should do with that is games like John Madden football and NBA 2K basketball. They could make those games. You can't do them first person. That's too hard. That's going to take a long time to figure that out. But imagine if you were just sitting in a chair, you know, you have your headset on, you have your controller, and it's like the basketball court is just like right here in front of you, and you see the little guys running around and you control them. I don't see why that would be so hard. I know the resolution and the screen door is at a certain level right now where it would look kind of chunky and pixely, but it would look kind of, you know, it's almost like there's this Vaseline look. Have you ever seen that? Like the Vaseline look? It's like it's kind of smeared with Vaseline.
Right. Yeah, it does kind of look like that. Yeah.
You'll have that, but I still think it would be a great way to play all these different sports games, and you could get a new segment of people that might be interested in picking up a VR headset, like some of the people that just only play sports games.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm trying to think. There's one Oculus thing that I just remembered that people are a little bit upset about, which is like, I don't know, we didn't really mention the new box too much other than that it exists and stuff, but you know, there's a lot of people who are kind of like, they bought this bundle and they're like, oh man, I don't get the Xbox controller anymore. I don't get the Oculus Remote even. You know, people are kind of upset about that.
Oh yeah, I did hear about. Yeah. So are people actually already getting this box?
I don't think anyone's actually got it, but on the Oculus website, like if you order a Rift now, I think it says like in the description, there's no more Xbox controller, no more remote. So I feel like they're probably going to ship out soon. But people are saying, you know, like that kind of ruins the $399 price point a little bit for people getting these all-in-one packages, because, you know, at least with, you know, the old box, you could sell the Xbox controller for like $60 or, you know, something like that.
You know, it would be cool. Yeah, and I'm trying to do that myself, actually. I'm trying to lower my cost basis a little bit by doing that. But it would be cool maybe if with that new box, if it had a new bundle of games.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine if it came with like Rock Band and Lone Echo?
It should come with Lone Echo, yeah.
Well, everybody will get Echo Arena. That's another great thing. I mean, we're all going to get a free game next week, and I know I'm going to definitely get Lone Echo too, because I'm more interested in the single player game personally.
Me too, yeah. So there's a lot. I don't know. There's so much going on. It's going to be an exciting month of July, the next few weeks for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's bonkers. I'm telling you, there are so many games that are coming this month. Hold on. I'll give you a list of some other crazy games. Like there's a lot of Vive and Rift stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, so Lone Echo on July 20th. The Wizards is coming out on July 28th by Carbon Studio. Now that's the same company that made Alice VR, which was kind of mediocre. So we'll have to see. The Wizards, the graphics look really good, but we'll have to see if the rest of the game. Have you ever heard of this game called Just in Time Incorporated, where it has like these little Minecraft guys, and you play an insurance agent? You're like an accidental death insurance agent, and these little citizens are always getting like run over by cars, or they're getting like caught in explosions. And what you have to do is you can rewind time and you can like move things around and like save them from their certain demise.
Huh.
It looks really cool. It's by a company called Second Wind Interactive. That one's coming on the 27th of this month.
Oh man.
There was this Mars experience, Mars 2030, that was supposed to come out on July 11th, and then it got delayed to July 25th, and now I think it's delayed till July 27th. But hopefully that will come out this month. It's a collaboration between FMG Labs, which is Fusion Media Group, their VR labs basically, and then also NASA is involved with it, and NVIDIA like helps sponsor it. Although it is $15 to buy this thing, but what it's doing is it's creating like 40 square kilometers of Martian terrain that you can kind of explore in like a multiplayer type thing, but you're like collecting rocks and stuff. Sounds kind of weird.
That does sound cool. Weird and cool.
But yeah, so lots of good stuff to think about in the month of July. So we'll definitely have to check all the stuff out. But basically, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for episode 44 of VR Roundtable. Of course, next week, Gary will come back and Steve will come back. And we'll probably get into this Oculus stuff again, because I do think that there's probably a lot of little different business angles we might have been able to talk about that we might have not gotten into.
Yeah.
And Gary and Steve are going to want to talk about that. Also, I know Gary has a surprise to talk about, but we'll let him reveal that on the show. And that's pretty much going to do it. And so always, guys, if you can like the video, subscribe to the video, and if you can go to iTunes and leave us a review. There are other VR podcasts that have way more reviews than us, and we've been around for a while. We've been doing this thing, so give us a little bit of love. Or Stitcher, or some of these other ones are good too, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see you next week, everyone.
Okay, later. Take it easy.